Welcome back to Metropole Grid. My name is Andrej.
And I'm Patrick.
And thanks for tuning in. This is round 2 of single-sided Swiss at Montreal NANPC.
Yeah, it was a great event. Here's some of our favorite players.
This is about noon, round 2. We just finished round 1. This, mind you, we usually were recording somewhere between like table 3 and table 5. So not exactly the top table, but I think both of these players might be undefeated going into this. And on the left,
yes, I think so.
That is Izzy. Izzy, she's the community organizer for Null Signal Games.
Yeah, community lead at Null Signal.
Yeah, she's great. Mind you, coming up from Vermont, we're happy to have folks who travel
really glad to have her. Like, Izzy is such a important and positive part of the Netrunner community. It's really great to have her up here.
Playing some PD, mind you, this is the sort of shoot the moon, your digital life, Midnight 3 Arcology PD. My favorite.
I take back everything
deck.
I said then.
Oh man, the deck is so fun and so fast. We're going to see that pop off. And on the right side, talking about like favorite Netrunner players, that's Steven from our local meta.
That's right. Montrealer Steven, also part of Depth Dive.
Yes,
you'll hear a bit more about Depth Dive in another video.
Steven, mind you, has been grinding. Last year when we did Canadian Nationals here on the day 2 event, won the startup championship we had there. So
that's right.
He's playing some Hoshiko. He's also playing a cool, like modern alternate Hoshiko. This is like crew Amakua Hoshiko.
Oh, okay.
Are you familiar with these lists? They're using Aquaceres crew to like rip down some ice.
Yeah. No, I've had this done to me. I'm familiar with experiencing this.
There was a couple players playing this archetype, and we should see some more of it, but I just like this archetype a heck of a lot. You want to be aggressive, you want to touch cards. Hoshiko wants to flip over to get that card draw. You want to keep pushing yourself forward. Patchwork is maybe one of the most fun consoles ever printed. We're going to see a lot of that stuff work well together. I think both players are just keeping. We should have a good game here. So
note how Steven is also keeping notes.
Yes, I think that is the depth dive training of how to be.
That's smart. Yeah,
count to 5. Looks like we're off. Ice, the remote server start here. Now we're looking at probably Rashida Yahim. Otherwise, a Tranquility Home Grid is a start, and we'll see how aggressive this Anarch is. I think a lot of players, you want to face check into the ice, force those reses early. If it's a Gatekeeper getting that out of the way early, that's nice. A Drafter on turn 1, that's nice.
And the open R&D is good for Hoshiko. She wants to access a card.
You definitely want to be touching a card at a minimum, so forcing the Corp to res here is pretty good. If you can pinhole down a Rashida, and a lot of these Aquaceres crew lists have slightly fewer Rashidas, so we're going to start there with R&D to get the flip. Greasing the palm off the top.
Fair enough.
Definitely a pretty good draw, especially if you're expecting that to be a Rashida, so you can get 2 cards out of your
it's
kind
also
of bloated hand.
If this is an Aquaceres crew, Hoshiko, you don't want to be keeping that tag, because you know that the greasing can like become some pretty good division. And there's the Patchwork.
You can trash more cards from your hand to get more value, so throwing out that second copy just to get a daily cast down.
Use the Patchwork to trash the Patchwork.
And daily cast for 1.
Beautiful.
We're going to get that Hoshiko flip. Now, we did not pressure ice. I love pressuring ice. We'll see how much here that Izzy they can get away with. Whether it's a Rashida start, forcing some credits out of hand can help. You have to be a bit more concerned about things like Drafter once there is, ice or, cards and archives. Nothing.
Yeah, Drafter is not that scary yet, but it will be soon.
So we'll see what's in the remote server. Clicking to draw there, we have a greasing, a pair of them as well. You see a seamless in hand, so that's probably not an agenda. I'm assuming it's a tranquility. Doesn't seem like the fastest draw there. So greasing, there you go, Tranquility Home Grid. Mind you, such a powerful card there, and greasing on top of it is going to give you a hedge fund worth of credits.
There we go.
And the question is, what gets into the remote server? It looks like we don't have a Rashida. We know one of the cards drawn in as the runner.
That's right.
But with a seamless in hand, this can be an agenda as soon as turn 1, and you are off to the races.
And depending on what agenda it is, it could really start you off power. If it's Midnight 3, turn that into a YDL.
Yes. Izzy there forgetting. I think we're back on track. Get those
Tranquility credits,
And Hoshiko there, getting 2 credits in, losing 1 for a card draw. We have the Patchwork down, so most of our installs and our plays will be relatively cheap. This gets really wild with cards like Steelskin Scarring and Strike Fund that fire when trash from hand, from grid.
Yes, and I'm not going to try and wrap my mind around how the rules works with Patchworking a Strike Fund in order to pay for something you couldn't have afforded.
It works aggressively in the most fun way you want.
Cool.
It's very, very liberal.
All right, this is how role-playing games work. The rule of cool. If it sounds like it works, it works.
Now we're checking it. It is a Gatekeeper.
Gatekeeper, okay.
So this turn it'll be 6 strength. It's going to fire the 3 more cards in hand, and cards in hand can be really important for the deck. Now,
frustrating thing for the runner, for the Corp to get, but like not so bad at this point in the game, I think.
So this is really interesting because a lot of times you'll use Gatekeeper to reveal the agendas and shuffle them back, but a big part about this deck is just have them in your hand.
No, you don't want to shuffle anything back. They're supposed to stay there.
Go quick, go fast, your digital life for 12. Score a Midnight 3, never discard your hand. There's a lot of very aggressive lines. Third Patchwork is a Stargate.
Oh, there we go.
Super.
And Izzy leaving R&D open. This Stargate's going to shred through that.
Now, this can be a tricky thing to get aggression on because if you can't scoop up the agenda, Precision Design, if you score an agenda, can just pull the card back.
Oh, I don't even know what to go for here. These are all good options. I would probably go for the Digital Life.
With this many cards in hand, I think the YDL you probably want to get out of hand. But again, this is where Precision Design can be tricky. What you're discarding can just come back.
Yeah.
Shout out, that is the run, always be running, or sorry, run together. YDL.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
That's really nice. Looks like we took out the seamless launch there. So off the top deck, Izzy, she's going to get that YDL for hand size. I think we're on now probably about 9 to 10 cards after the
And we also know there's no ice coming up, so R&D will probably be vulnerable for a little while longer unless Izzy installs one of those cards in hand.
Now, a really fun interaction with Stargate is you don't access the cards, so it's a nice avenue to let Hoshiko flip to the non-digital side if you don't want the card draw.
That is fun.
Yeah, it's cool. You pressure in and out, so every other turn you can run archives or touch centrals, but
really
I think
ride that wave of Hoshiko flips.
Steven did a great job pressuring there. So now there's a target on R&D.
Yep.
But if Izzy can get a strong agenda in the remote server, she can just continue to fly forward. She might not have to ice that out immediately.
I guess so. That feels risky, but sure.
Oh, just 3. Oh, that sounds like worst case scenario. Luminal transubstantiation. Gain 3 clicks back. Precision design here.
So this is one of the strongest HP agendas. You get a full turn back, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. If a PD scores this, like their chance of winning the game goes up tremendously.
Now we're playing greasing the palm, getting money back.
Just, like, ice up R&D while we're at it. Sure.
What a turn there. Not only scoring out, but you have the time to put something in the remote server, get the tranquility trigger, but also ice up the one server that's being heavily pressured.
Yep.
Now, I think there's a chance Izzy forgot the PD trigger. It's technically optional as much as you definitely wanted there. We didn't get your digital life this turn, but we see in hand, it's still in there. We see a big deal as well, which is the strong closer if you can get up to 17 credits.
Yeah.
Now it's up to Steven there to put the pressure on, and only 5 credits. You can probably force 1 ice res, 2 can be tricky.
Yeah, but you don't want to see a drafter fire.
It's rough. Price now.
The price. Love the price.
Fires really well with Strike Fund to Steel Skin, and with a Gatekeeper on the remote server, there is a second ice, but if you can find an Amakua, you can't get through that 0 strength ice.
Making some money for trashing the Strike Fund.
Interrupt there, gain 2, and we see 4 options here. What are you thinking?
I mean, knowing Steven, I'm going to say Buffer Drive. But Double Charm works well with the Aquasairs crew.
Free daily cast is nice. This game is going at quite a rate, and Devil Charm is nice with the crew. We haven't seen one yet. That's for sure, though. It is pretty great.
Yeah.
It looks like we're just going to go for the value pill option.
Just want to make sure everyone knows. I was not intending the Buffer Drive comment to be a burn on Steven. Just want to be super clear.
It's a fun card.
Okay.
So we have a full daily cast there. So we actually made money installing the daily cast.
Yeah.
And we ripped through 4 cards, which those cards we didn't honestly want to draw.
No, not really.
Price is phenomenal. So now the question is, how do we get pressure here? If you do the Stargate, again, you mentioned it. A drafter can rebuild board state aggressively.
Put cards back in hand, which helps with the YDL as well. And just putting the YDL itself back in hand would be annoying enough.
So thinking how to put the pressure on again. At a minimum, if you're going to draw, you might as well just bump archives to get the Hosh flip in most cases. But whether you need to pressure the remote server, a lot of these lists, I think Steven's list is on Boomerang, which some of the other lists I saw at the event were on other options, things like diversion of funds for a bit more pressure.
Hoshiko Boomerang is fun. I like that.
Very powerful here. So an Amakua, but we're just sending it. There's some risks here.
HQ, yeah. Like I said, drafter is going to be real frustrating if that's what it ends up being.
But forcing a res, you do like that. It looks
you
like
want to bring her down to 2 credits. That's nice. But she's going to let it go through.
Yeah. Not resing just yet. Finding the one
a YDL
card that we did know. We know there's a YDL still in
Once
hand
again,
there.
show to Run Together, a community art pack, alternate art pack of cards where the money goes to help people pay to go to Worlds.
Yeah, it's sick. It's really, really
cool.
good. There's 2 packs, mind you. You can find them on Signal Games website. This one's from the first one, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Just drawing up there. So we should get the Hoshiko flip. Mind you, we touched a card this turn. Steven does a great job always shuffling his hand, so you can't tell what he's top decking.
Absolutely.
I think that's a useful skill.
Yeah.
And now
keeps us all on edge.
Top deck there. I think we might have an agenda remote server, seamless launch in hand. If that is a midnight 3, looks like we're finding out.
Oh boy, okay.
Triple advance.
And here we go. Send everyone underwater and let's see what happens.
Card was pretty derided when it came out.
It really was, wasn't it? It's like,
but now when you score it out, you draw 3 cards, you can get back PD, so we might just grab that seamless launch back, and you're set up to start your next turn with 10 credits in hand or 10 cards in hand, which for your digital life is all you need to start flying. We are now on 4 points. Big deal into 5-3 closes the game out, and that can come sooner than you could guess.
Yeah.
This is an aggressive game here. Daily cash should be coming in. Hoshiko trading a credit for a card draw.
Yeah, but Izzy doesn't want to spend much more money. Like, yes, she could credit your digital life.
She can't really. She can't go to. Well, she can go down to 0 because she can install on top of Trank, gain 2 YDL. Like, it's hard.
True.
But you do have a moment here that you can put the pressure on, whether
Yeah.
it's the Stargate and hope that I think the only ice you expect to be res for 2 credits is Ablative, which at this point fires. And if Ablative goes on the Trank Grid, it's so bad.
Ablative would very bad, yes.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay, well.
Now, Ablative is not only from Archives, because Archives is only operations. You can Ablative from hand.
That's great.
Yeah, which is how you fire Tranquility.
Uh-huh.
It is fast. So
okay.
we're up
so
to 10 credits.
Through.
We need to find an Abakua. We need to find an Aquaceris crew. We need to find some way to get the pressure on here. Steven understands that the clock is ticking, and if he can't crack that remote server next turn, Izzy can easily be on 6 points, which, again, that's game point.
Do we know what turn this is? Is this turn 4?
This should be the 3rd runner's turn.
Okay.
Yeah, this deck is fast. I think I got a judge call right here that the light that we were filming on was not plugged in and it died.
Oh.
The judge call was your light turned off, which is a great judge call.
Uh-huh. Once again, like, call your judges. They need enrichment. They need encouragement.
Looks like we've top decked something interesting there. It's going to be Steelskin. We're going to pay that. Now, technically, you have to be careful here because the cards that you Steelskin, you can't play. Imp is going to come down. That's actually pressure I was not expecting.
The cards that you Steelskin, you can't play?
Yeah, so he kept them separate.
Oh, so you have to. He's using the Patchwork. Okay, I see.
Yeah. So
he's not playing the Steelskin. He's patchworking the Steelskin.
Exactly.
Okay, I see. It's all coming together now.
You have to. This is the only like cool rule, kind of violation is that the cards that you draw with Steelskin cannot be the cards you install.
That's right. Yes.
Pressure on HQ with a Bravado too.
Love a Bravado.
But unfortunately,
okay. There's the Ablative, which is gonna.
So down to 0 credits. But if Izzy doesn't have an installable, I think that's not only installable. That's a Rashida gaining 2 off the Trank.
Gross.
Now we can pressure R&D here. We might see another res, but that Imp was going to put the pressure on. That is just such a good install. Getting the Trank once per turn.
Okay.
Bravado.
All right, so what do we do now? Do we Stargate R&D?
We get a Bravado credit, so we could consider it. You might just want to go in the Imp. I think right here, it's not so much we need the Stargate. I think we need card draw. We need to touch cards to get that click compressed Hoshiko draw. Because it doesn't look like Steven has access to breakers here, and this deck is going fast. You need the breakers fast.
That's true.
So we're tracking through this.
Okay, what are we thinking? Yeah.
Just making sure we're on the right click here. We probably have a click left. You see the hand, a lot of options there, but the Rashida and the remote server is going to be even more options. And it's going to be Rashida into YDL. Like, it's going to be a couple cards.
Yeah, no, I know.
Now deciding if we want to pressure R&D. Izzy is just flying. There's the Stargate.
Okay, we're going to Stargate R&D.
Tattoo Bola dropping Izzy down to 0 credits. But she does have the Rashida, which is going to fire now, so she can just YDL without having to worry about getting a card at the Trank Grid. So 2 end the runs, only 1 strength. So if Amakua comes down, you can challenge those, but we could be on pushing game point this turn. You see in hand.
So count it all up.
There is 1 agenda in hand. I
see it.
believe there's an off-world. YDL, pay 2. How many do you think we're getting?
Oh, $1 billion.
That's good money.
That's good money, actually. It's really good. It's
still good. Boy, imagine going from 0 to 11 on 1 click with Rashida.
Yeah, I mean it doesn't feel good when you're on the other side and you think you've just drained out your opponent's credits. And
the stack is so fast, and now we have Seamless into Off-World, which again fires PD there. We have a Managarm, which you can put on R&D that frustrates Stargate. Whether you think the remote server is safe is another option. Again, 0 strength ice, but 1 unknown. Now, some of the ice actually can be a harder face check. A Hagen exists in the list that Man of the Moon published. Mind you, it has 1 Hagen, so that can eat either an Imp or, in theory, a Stargate.
Yeah, that's true.
Install, game 2 install. So it looks like a Managarm and Off-World Office are in the remote server. We have a big deal in hand and a Seamless launch.
We do have to discard cards now, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Now we have a couple options here. We have a Spin Doctor, which is a bit extra, but Stargate if you want to deal with that. We have a couple of Drafters. Pretty good ice as well. Again, that was a rough face check if that was res for 3.
Yeah. Okay.
And right now here, we're getting so much good money coming from Daily Cast, but I think the problem here is not money, it's card draw. Hoshiko did flip back to the corporeal form. And we just definitely want that click compressed card draw here because we need to find an Amakua. Once you have an Amakua, you actually do break open these servers. They're very low strength ice.
For sure. And Steven's got a lot of good money.
The problem is on 13 credits, you score that Off-World Office, you're in big deal range. Izzy's threatening to close the game in 2 turns.
Yeah, this is rough.
So having an Imp, trying to find pressure.
Just draw like crazy to get yourself an Amakua.
Thinking here again, understanding that there's going to be enough time in the round for a game, so you can take a couple minutes on this turn if you need to. Again, these are 40-minute rounds For those who are unfamiliar, it's single-sided Swiss. So each player or each matchup, they only play one side of the table.
That's right.
And then each round, you're trying to play the side that you've played the least.
Yes. We played 7 rounds of single-sided Swiss this day.
That's a whole day. Takes you to from 11 to 6.
Yeah. People got out in time to go to their reservations at fancy restaurants.
6 cards in hand there. Throwing out a Stargate, get a boomerang down.
Okay.
Now, this means we might need a trick for the outermost dice or just forcing a res. We're just forcing a res here.
Forcing a res, okay.
Now, a lot of the ice you're expecting to be an end the run. The only thing that might not hard end the run is a drafter. It's still not great for you, but you can force your way through it.
It might be another
second
gatekeeper.
keeper,
Okay.
3 more cards. If you find your YDL, now you did make that server 2-0 strength ice on the following turn. If you do find your Amakua.
Boy, once that Amakua comes down, oh, you better watch it.
Now that boomerang is stranded on the innermost for a minute. I think we see in the hand there a red level clearance, which is quite nice. No second YDL, but this off-world office might just bring it back. And if that's the case, you can actually play your digital life, install 4-2 big deal, close the game.
Really?
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, it's fast.
Oh, it's so fast.
Deciding what to do here.
Casual, threatening breaking up of a 5.
You need change. There's the turtle.
There's a turtle.
So unfortunately, the outer gatekeeper is 6, but we can run archives, and then we can run central servers on the following turn. So Amakua is one of the strongest AI breakers we've ever seen.
Yep.
You need to be touching cards, not stealing or trashing to get those virus counters.
That's right.
And it is a universal breaker, but seamless launch. It looks like an off-world office is going to the score area.
Okay. And we're going to make a big chunk of cash off that because we're not even advancing it honestly.
No, 14 credits here. Big deal to score to 4-2. Only cost you 17, but with a Tranquility, it only cost you functionally 15 credits.
Yeah, that's cool.
Now, we don't see an agenda in hand here. So the question is what you go for. Again, there is a trigger just getting seamless launch back.
Sure, why not?
Saying that we have enough money here with all our ice res that we don't need your digital life. Now, we have to discard 6 hand size. PD does have. We're going to chalk some things out. It's a turn that we're not getting Tranquility Grid. So if Steven can pivot to get lock on here and just make sure the top of the deck doesn't give any agendas.
It's still possible.
It's possible. It definitely is possible. It's going to be tricky too. And Tattoo Bowl is another way to give Izzy more money if you want to interact with it, which can be hard.
That's frustrating, but true. But
yeah, if you can destroy it with an Aqua Ceres crew, it's a bit expensive, but
that's true. You can destroy it before it gets a chance to trigger.
Yes.
Okay.
So we're going to pass back here again. Still, unfortunately, not hitting the digital side. Whether we have time to run archives to get the flip, to get the Amakua counter, I think that's probably how our turn is going to start. But we have a fair few face downs in there. And looking at the math of how many cards Izzy's drawn, she's scoring 3 cards, which kind of lines up with not expecting too much more in HQ in terms of agendas.
Yeah.
Just running it back, understanding again, he has the time in the round to do the math. We should be on 6 in hand. Just flying. Steven starting there. I think we have a daily cast to take in. We haven't taken it. Patchwork should be ready. And it's a very good card. It's 2 credits, largely clicklessly every turn if you have a card draw to support it.
I've said this before. It's my favorite console that sounds like my name.
It's a good one. Paragon.
Yeah.
No.
Way better than Comet.
Yeah. Cards in hand. Doesn't look like too many options. So whether you want to lock the top with R&D with the Stargate, you can run back. That might do something. We're going to start for click to draw. Definitely looking for something here. Checking archives.
Let's hope it's not a virus.
Even if there is, you get 1 Amakua.
You get the 1 Amakua. That's true. You purge and then you get the counter.
Handing over the pack there. I'm not sure if they shuffled. You should be shuffling just to obfuscate information.
That's true. Yeah.
Amakua gets 1 virus counter. So now 1 strength ice. So we break every single ice on the board until Tattoo Bola does a swap. But we're running HQ.
Okay.
Ensuring that Izzy doesn't have it so she can't jam next turn.
Yeah, let's see.
Again, a shuffle up there. We know that the most important card to trash in hand is probably either the Seamless Launch or the Big Deal. Now, Big Deal has a trash cost. Another Tattoo Bola.
Okay. I'm sensing a Tattoo Bola about to be triggered into a Tattoo Bola at some point, but we'll find out together.
So Amakua, you didn't trash. That does give you another counter. That's sometimes a bit of the tension between Imp.
Yeah, that's right. You don't want to Imp the Tattoo Bola because that would preclude the virus token going on to Amakua.
We're back in again, touching a card here. Big Deal can be very important, but we'll see here if we have a click. Red level clearance. This actually is an important card because clicklessly can allow you to break R&D lock, which can matter. Can matter a fair bit.
I don't think he's decided if he wants to go after R&D yet. So
yeah, I think we need to see a Stargate here to make sure that Izzy isn't having the chance, but it looks like that's a whole turn. Draw 3 runs.
So Izzy might draw something that is the game.
Izzy top decks an agenda, she can do install credit Big Deal.
Yep.
And she has it. I think she just got it offered off the top. If that's target went across, so that would have denied 2 points.
Yeah. So install to gain 2. Credit. All right.
You're on 17. Credit. Perfect. We'll take you to 8 points. That is a round 2.
Did you do a camera shake? Okay. All right.
Gain 7.
Oh, good game.
What a game. Again, that big deal was in hand. If you can rip that, not only does it have a trash cost, but well played to both players.
Yeah, that's a big deal win. Love to see that. That's very fun.
Now, these games sometimes, right? 7-0 feels like, or 8-0 feels like a blowout. But if you're just one step behind, it can still be a close game.
Yep.
But just one step behind again against a PD deck, they can go that fast.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love to see that pressure, though, that early Stargate that Amaku is getting there. Maybe we just need a couple more turns and lock R&D, but blistering pace. I'm such a big fan of this PD deck. It is absolute gas all the time.
I guess it's just so fast.
It's so fast.
I came here to play Netrunner, and it's over in 6 turns.
Well played to both players. I want to shout out.
His second daily cast didn't even finish.
Izzy was on an absolute tear this afternoon.
Yeah,
unfortunately, she ran into a migraine between like rounds 4 and 5. She was at top tables and had to largely fold. I think she did really well at the throwback tournament the following day, so glad she can come back. Now, Steven, we won't spoil the story because he'll be back on round 7. So he was grinding through this day, and I love this Aquaceris crew deck. It is so, again, fun and aggressive. So we might see more of that. Yeah.
Cool.
And that's round 2 of NANPC Montreal. We'll be back. We have 5 more rounds. Thanks so much for watching, Pat.
I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you in a bit.
Bye, everybody.
Hey, thanks so much for watching. I'm really glad we got to get that on tape for round 2 of NANPC. Not only because they're fantastic players, but those are easily 2 of my favorite decks in the standard format. Whether you're smashing things down with Crew and Hoshiko, getting that card draw and getting that Anarch Destruction, or of course, if it's precision design, trying to win the game in 7 to 8 turns, just chaining midnight 3s into big your digital lives and finishing with a big deal is always what you want to be. 17 credits doesn't matter when the game's over right there. Well played to both players, a super exciting match, and if you want to play some fast, aggressive Netrunner, those are 2 really great decks to give a shot. Now, of course, I want to give a huge thank you to all these names here and more. We are supported on Patreon. Metropole Grid, a lot of time goes into this. We're putting out 2 videos a week currently and 2 live streams. All the editing, motion graphics, recording, all this stuff takes a heck of a lot of time, and it just simply wouldn't be possible without the support of all these names here and, of course, our daily cast patrons. If you really appreciate Netrunner content like this and it makes sense, if you want to contribute any amount, you can find links to the Patreon below. It's incredibly appreciated. Now, working through NANPC Montreal, we'll have our next video up on Monday. We're trying to do Saturday mornings and Monday mornings, and of course, we have our Tuesdays and Thursday streams if you want to drop by and have some live Netrunner gameplay. Otherwise, Worlds is just a couple weeks away. Cannot be more excited, and we'll be back in just a couple days with round 3 of NANPC Montreal. Thanks so much for watching. Ciao.